I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop, your daily sports podcast. Welcome in, whether you're watching or listening live. The live show, we go live at 10 a.m. on X and on YouTube. Also, the Puck Sports mobile app. You can download the mobile app to your smartphone today. The App Store there for iPhone and for Google Play. Also, if you are watching and listening it later, okay, you can find it on all your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Just search Puck Sports. Every single day, we come via the Limback Lumber Studios. Contractors and do-it-yourselfers are going to take care of you. They got the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. They got old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call at 206-782-3487 or visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Also, they wanted me to pass this along. Paul, the owner, who's a great owner. His family's been running it again since 1930. They want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And in these holiday seasons, right, Thanksgiving, Christmas around the corner, they do a lot of charity work and help for the Ballard Food Bank. And they wanted to pass on their happy Thanksgiving to everyone. But they also would like for everyone to go out and support your local food bank during this holiday season if you can. You can just find the one closest to you and help out. Anything works. A little bit goes a long way. That was the message from Paul and everyone over there at Limback Lumber. You can follow me on all the social media platforms, Puck Sports everywhere except for TikTok. It's Puck_sports. And, of course, you can visit us at pucksports.com. You can sign up there to become a Pucks Posse member. You go out and support everything that we do here on the Daily Puck Drop, all the guests every single day that we put together for you. Also, we give you bonus shows throughout the week. KJ Arndt's not going to be on this week. We'll get to that in a second. We will have Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish coming out a little bit later today, and a brand new Sports Pit with myself, Steve Sandmeyer, and Matt Stretch Johnson is out right now. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, he joins us 3 times a week. He's back with us as he always is, always on time. The greatest sports writer of all time. It is Jim Moore, the go-to guy, brought to you by...
Hey, Puck, I got to tell you about something that happened on my way to PT today that really saddened me and darkened my day.
You talk. I've got to shut the door. Go ahead.
All right, you go ahead. There goes Jason Puckett. He'll be back. I want to thank Brian Turner from a Clean Streak in Oak Harbor. He's also the owner of Bright Owl Lighting. If you want the nicest Christmas display in your neighborhood, give them a call at 360-675-2034 or visit brightowllighting.com. You can't go wrong with Brian. He's just a forthright, upstanding guy, and he's going to do a good job for you. You won't have to mess around with ladders or the gutters or any of that stuff. So call them at 360-675-2034. I know that you want a new car or a pre-owned car, and why not get a Cadillac or a Buick or a GMC? Brotherton has it all for you in Renton or Shoreline, 4th-generation family-owned hospitality. It makes all the difference. Plus, he's a Coug, and we love the Cougs. He'll do business with you Huskies, too. So check him out at brothertonauto.com. Matt Baker, fellow Coug, owner of the Angry Beaver in Greenwood. Go watch the Cougs today in the consolation round of the Maui Classic at the Angry Beaver in Greenwood at 2:30 today. Have a shot of Jägermeister. Do whatever you want. Gluten-free menu. It's all there for you. Lots of TV screens, beer taps, you name it. They have it at the Angry Beaver in Greenwood.
There you go. All right. What was the funny story on your way to PT?
Well, it's not a funny story, and I don't know if other people would be as bummed out about what I'm about to say as I was. It kind of I don't want to say it wrecked my day, but it made me feel bad. So I'm driving along in Bend going to PT. And I had to stop for a deer, which you have to do quite a bit down here. And
sure.
The deer was crossing. And then I always expect there's going to be a second deer because they travel in pairs and all that kind of thing. And I looked at the deer and I thought, God, he's kind of moving a little slowly there. And I thought, well, maybe he's just being cautious, like kids being told to look both ways, left and right, before they cross. Mm-hmm. And then I noticed, though, there was a reason why he was walking slowly. He had a broken leg.
Ah,
And so he was walking on 3 legs and he was holding his back leg. And I was just sitting there thinking, all these things went through my mind about, God, what's he going to do in the wild? Where are his buddies? Or his buddies looking out for him? Or is he just going to be, eaten by a bunch of coyotes at some point? And, that's just the way nature is. Is that the way I should look at it? But I don't look at it that way. I was like looking at him going, Jesus Christ, man, what are you going to do? How are you going to, make it in the wild out there? And he's probably in pain a lot. Is there something wrong with me? Because I know people go out there with their guns and just fire at these things. But it kind of soured my day.
I think that's two separate things. One, hunting, and then the other one where the deer obviously has been hurt or been hit by something happened, and so the deer is in pain. Feels pain. So that is kind of different.
Let me ask you a sporting question when it comes to hunting.
Sure.
If you saw this deer in the wild and you could see that he was crippled, would you still, aim at him and gun him down? And maybe you could tell yourself, well, I'm putting him out of his misery. Or would you be more sporting and go, God, I want to get one of those deer that, like Bambi that's prancing around and shit.
I think hunters get a bad rap of being some type of like awful people where they're like the worst of the worst and all they care about is putting the trophies up on their wall. I know many hunters and they're very, very like, I don't know what's the right word or phrase. They're very they're animal lovers. They're not like these.
Thinning the herd is important, and you eat the venison, so it's not like you're just out there blatantly gunning something down. I understand that because I maybe taking it out
of his misery. I grew up on a farm. I had to watch my dad put down one of our cows because they were in pain, was going to die. He's like, well, I'm not going to sit there.
Okay, but do you think it's weird? Like, I don't think
just sit there and suffer.
Yeah, I don't think it's weird when somebody holds up a big fish for a photo. But do you find it weird when a guy is sitting there next to a dead buck, with like 8 points and all that stuff? I do. Like, is that some sort of cool conquest?
I mean, it doesn't bother me. So,
I mean, I'm a damn, you know what? I'm a sheep. So,
hey, listen, you can be any way you want. I just think it's I do find the irony that, you'll go out later tonight and have a burger.
No, I won't do that. I'll have a turkey burger.
Okay. A turkey burger. Okay.
Yeah. So kidney issues. I gotta rule out.
Would you have a problem speaking of the farm again, when 1 year my dad wanted to get a real turkey. Now this was the one and only time we ever did this. So we got a real turkey brought out to the farm.
So you mean a live turkey?
What did I say? Live
you said
turkey.
Real.
Well, real turkey. Well, a live turkey. Sorry, a live turkey. Brought it out, and we cut and so we got it. We're gonna have a live turkey. We're gonna do it ourselves. We're gonna take the feathers out, all that kind of stuff. Put the turkey down, cut its head off. The thing jumped up out of my father's hands and started running around. Blood splurting out everywhere.
And after we
chopped the head off, and the thing was running around in the field. It was, I'll be honest, I don't even know how old I was, probably like 10. One of the most disturbing things I think I've ever seen.
How long did that happen?
How long did it run around?
Yeah.
Oh, to me, it felt like an hour. It was probably a minute before.
A minute though.
For maybe less than that, before the blood drained out and it was dead. And then it was awful because have you ever tried to defeather a bird?
Well, no, I was thinking, did you eat the turkey that
yes,
day?
We have the turkey, yeah.
So you were okay watching him running around with his...
I grew up on a farm. All the cows that I became friends with eventually, hey, where'd Lucy go? Well, Lucy's on your plate. Okay. It's part of it.
I'm such a wuss that I wouldn't be okay with that. I wouldn't have been able to eat turkey at Thanksgiving that year. I don't.
But you'll fish and eat the fish.
Yeah, for some reason
that doesn't.
I admit that there's something wrong with me with that, or it's what is it, two-faced or talking out of both sides of my mouth, like what you just said. Like you eat burgers, so yeah. Anyway, yeah, I felt bad for the deer. Okay, I did.
Well, that's fine. You can feel bad for the deer. I think the hunter would feel bad for the deer. I don't think a hunter friend of yours walking around would see that deer limping, it's injured, and go, "Damn it! I wish I could shoot that son of a bitch right now." I think they think like that.
Well, some do, I think. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Would you shoot? Would you shoot one of your dogs?
Would I shoot one of my dogs?
Yeah.
What do you think? You see that
they were in pain. If they were in pain,
huh?
If one of your dogs was in pain, let's say you're out in a trail.
Well, I'm still scarred by Old Yeller. Okay, anybody who knows that movie, Old Yeller gets the gunshot. Okay, so
what about one of your dogs? Let's say they're in pain and you're out somewhere.
If my vet told me that you have to do this, your dog's going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Get him out of his misery. Okay, I could probably muster up, enough to do that. Here, did you see the question on Twitter? Speaking of dogs, and I can't believe that it was even a question. It said, like, if your dog was lost and somebody found him 600 miles away, would you drive to go get him in the middle of the night?
Somebody actually asked that.
Yeah, is that really a question?
If your answer was no, then
miles and I had to drive to go get my dog, I would do it.
You shouldn't be a dog owner if your answer was no. Like F you. I'd swim across the Atlantic to go pick them up.
Yeah, and people have and I understand, but trust me on this. I'm not rich. I'm really not rich. I was a sports writer, and you're not paying me shit.
I think everybody understands that you're not rich. Okay, we can
move
on.
The reason I'm saying that is that I don't know, like if River had something wrong with him or Sky had something wrong with her, and the vet said to me, "Hey man, it's going to be $5,000, to help your dog out here," I would find the money. But there are people out there who own dogs who have a limit on what
I think when I tell people, I know a friend of mine who told me of all the stuff I did for our dog Maple. They said, "Yeah, I wouldn't have done it. I would." Well,
I've heard some people have like $1,000 limit. Like,
you don't even want to know how much money we spent on our dog.
What if the vet told you, "Hey man, it's going to be $995. No, I'm out.
I'm out. Can't do it." The most expensive thing in our house is our 14-year-old Labrador.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
But for good reason.
Yeah. Damn right.
Yeah. I mean,
there is no Mitch Levy today. Mitch Unfiltered, he canceled this morning.
Oh, because Syracuse is in the loser's bracket of that tournament.
And here's my deal. I checked in with them yesterday and said, "Are you good for 10-10?" Yep. Okay. And then I get a late night text. I'd already gone to bed. "Oh, can't make it. Syracuse is playing at 10. I'm like, "Didn't you know that was a possibility yesterday?"
Yeah,
or the day before.
The possibility, like if Syracuse loses. Did they play a late game last night, though?
They must have. But, like, here's my thing. Like, wouldn't you have known that was a possibility that they would have played at that time? Why agree to do it? And on top of it, this guy has begged for weeks to come on with you. So I'm like, okay, how about next week? This was last week. I said, how about next Wednesday? Does that work for you? Yeah. Knowing all the time that he's going to be in Vegas for this basketball tournament. Did he not think there was going to be a conflict with one of these games he went to? Poor planning on Mitch, I'll tell you that. And
maybe Syracuse was favored in whoever they played yesterday.
I'll just say this
they were going to win.
About Mitch Unfiltered. You people that are fans of both. Someone's working this week and someone's been in Vegas watching basketball. I don't know. If I've got $5 to spend a month, I think I'm spending it on puck. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, yeah, okay, but people should know that you're also spending money on a guy that if he gets a free golf offer, that he's going to take a couple days off to go to Gamble Sands.
You broke up. I didn't hear you. What did you say?
No, I think you heard that.
I didn't hear it.
It's one thing to have a family matter or for it to be a holiday, but you tend to take time off, to satisfy Jason Puckett at times.
I lost you again. Your internet keeps dropping. Have you?
And by the way, I got to play with David McClay-Kidd, who is the architect of the new course out there, Scarecrow at Gamble Sands. where they
beautiful.
charge you an arm and a leg to play there now.
No, they don't charge you an arm and a leg. They
Yes,
charge
they
you what the
do.
market rate is to play golf.
You know what I paid yesterday to play golf, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And I want to, if you ever come down to Central Oregon, go to Prineville and play Meadow Lakes Golf Course. The greens were fantastic shape because I'm over 60 and my kids were college students. I paid for all 3 green fees, $75. It was $25 per.
That's a great deal.
Fantastic.
You know what I got in the mail today or yesterday?
No, what?
And you know what? I don't like the fake enthusiasm.
You know, it's funny. It's kind of rich of me because I'm giving you shit about playing free golf. This buddy of mine from Austria, he's starting this golf travel business.
Yeah, and which I think is a pyramid scheme because you wrote a whole thing about it on Jim Moore, the go-to guy.
And I
think you guys are stealing people's money, but continue.
He wants me to host this golf trip to Portugal, and he's billing me as like this legendary Seattle sports writer. I think you get to
play with the great Jim Moore in Portugal.
And so I'm going to play for free if he pulls this off.
Yeah.
And then, but the other thing, when do you qualify as legendary? Is it just because as soon as you hit 65, you get Medicare, and then you're going to go from being a veteran sports writer to being legendary? Sometimes they wait till you're dead, right, before they call you legendary.
Is anyone going to actually? How many people do you need? Does he need to sign up for this trip to actually happen?
We need 7, and we have 3 so far.
Okay, that's not bad. So you need 4 more people.
Yeah.
To sign up for this trip to Portugal, and it's going to take place when?
It's in April. And you can contact me at Jim Moore, the go-to guy at yahoo.com. Just come along. I guarantee that it's like $3,000, I think, and you play 7 courses and you stay at this fantastic resort in Portugal.
Listen to him grovel.
You get tours of Lisbon. And
how much does it cost?
$3,000. Yeah. Airfare's not included, though. What?
Okay, that's all right.
What? I guarantee I will do my best to make sure that everyone has a good time if you go. And you don't have to be a good golfer to go. I shot an 88 yesterday.
Well, if you're not a good golfer, why would you go? Like, I mean, honestly, why would I spend $3,000? Why would I spend $4,500 to go play golf if I'm not good? Like that's not a way. That's a waste of money.
Well, I'm going and I'm not good.
Yeah, but you're good. You're good at golf.
Well, I'm passable. I'm a bogey golfer. I don't think people consider bogey golf good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So
way to help me sell this trip.
Well, but this is a pyramid scheme for you to get a free trip to Portugal. That's what this is.
No, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's not. Honestly, I'm trying to help out a friend. And that sounds, help out a friend by going on a free golf trip. It wasn't my idea. I didn't say to him, hey, man, you're starting a golf travel business. Why don't you have me host a trip and call me legendary at the same time? I didn't do any of that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm mistaken. I'm sorry. I think you are truly making a great sacrifice for your friend and all these other people. And I, you know what? I'm going to apologize. You are really the sacrifice and effort you're making for a friend to go to Portugal to play golf. Honestly, it should be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, a humanitarian award of what you're doing.
I think so too.
So 4 more people. Where can they contact you again?
Jim Moore, the go-to guy at yahoo.com.
Okay. Now, can I get back to what I received in the mail yesterday?
Yeah, go ahead. I was waiting with bated breath, as they say all the time.
I'm officially old. Can you see that? Can you see it?
AARP.
I received my AARP card yesterday, which you get when you're about to turn 50.
Yeah.
Which I am turning 50 in December.
Yeah. What date is it? December
5th.
Okay.
I don't want to open this up. I mean, is this when you would get this and you received this probably 20 years ago, 25? How long ago did you get this?
Do you think you're funny? I mean, do you really think you're funny by saying that? I mean, you're going to
How long ago was it?
You know what? You're going to be 68 someday too. and then people will be talking about you being old and washed up. You know, I've also been called young and washed up when I was 35 too. So I've been called this for a long time.
So is this the first sign you're old right here?
Well, the first sign that you're old is that gray showing up in your beard. Yeah, that's the first sign. Now, 50, I still remember my 50th birthday. I woke up in actually Sun River, Oregon, and I ran a half marathon that day.
Oh, I will not be doing that.
50th birthday, I ran a half marathon. It was the last one I've ever run.
Okay.
But I do remember laying in bed that morning going, damn. Wow.
This is it.
When you're in your 40s, you can get away with saying you're middle age, but when you get to 50, it's kind of like,
because
that's most people's definition of being old.
You're on the downside of it. I mean, what's how much
you're not
more
going to live another 50 years.
No,
so you're on the back nine somewhere. You know, hopefully you're on the 10th fairway.
Jeez.
But shit, you might be on the 17th fairway. Who knows?
Hey, what do I get though? Is there something like what do I get with an ARP membership?
I don't know. You get discounts on stuff.
What do I get? Do I get discounts on food when I go out?
I think so. Oh, I know. When you go to hotels, like if you don't have your AAA card, if you don't have a AAA membership, you can tell them you're AARP, and you usually get 10% off at some places.
Here it says from the senior vice president of membership at ARP, dear Jason, welcome to the 50 Club. I don't want to be welcome to anything. For only $20, you get 12 months of ARP benefits for yourself and your spouse or a household member. So what do I get? I get exclusive discounts on travel plans, including hotels, flights, car rentals, vacation packages. I get great everyday savings on groceries, dining out, cell phone services, eyeglasses, and more. Social Security planning, discounts on prescriptions. I don't have any prescriptions. Tools to help you save money. That's what my wife's for. Let's see. Valuable support and resources for navigating family caregiving. Okay. I don't know really. Well, the groceries thing, I'm in on that. So I can use my ARP card and get a discount at the grocery store. I'm in.
Yeah, just follow whatever they want you to do and get a card. It's just like AAA. Everybody should have a AAA card.
I got AAA.
Yeah. AAA is a no-brainer.
So unfortunately, no, Mitch, you can reach out to him at Mitch Unfiltered and ask, why did you stand up Puck and Jim today? Because you were in Vegas watching Syracuse. Who cares about Syracuse basketball?
Well, he does, and I know how important that is to him because he and his dad used to go to all the tournament games.
Is he doing the preseason tournament because he knows that they're not going to be in the NCAA tournament? So he's like, I just got to get it out of the way. We have to actually go see him.
But I'm going to support Mitch again. If you're a college basketball fan, the teams that were in that tournament.
Well, again.
You imagine what Gonzaga is going to do to us in 2 games this year?
The Daily Puck Drop is here for you every day this week. Mitch Unfiltered, not
free golf, no free golf offers for you this week.
We got Canzano this week. We had Dugar this week. You got Ryan Divish for Puck's Posse members coming out today. We've got Old Crimson for you. Rob Staten's coming up in about 5 to 6 minutes. We've got Todd.
Hey, if your listeners have an extra $5, if you're listening, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to talk about me for a second, okay? If your listeners have an extra $5 during this holiday season, you could go to Jim Moore, the go-to guy.substack.com and get a paid subscription. Yeah.
Well, you can.
I had a guy though the other day that was like accusing me of being, like a money grabbing kind of guy. And I was like, no, man, I'm really not doing that. I've been doing this for free for 14 months. And I'm asking for $5 a month. Is that okay? I guess not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what else you got?
You know what's depressing before we get to Rob Staten? There's a lot of things that are depressing. And I hate
deer for one thing. Go ahead.
Well, the deer. And I hate thinking of this. Okay. I hate it. What you and I are the only 2 people probably in America. Well, not that are watching the Cougs yesterday in the Maui Invitational. And we're watching this young freshman who's got the best name in sports right now. His name is Ace Glass. Okay. And I've been trying to figure out who he reminds me of. And he reminds me of a young Jay Williams. That's what he reminds me of. Now, is he as good as Jay? I'm not saying he's as good as Jay Williams that played at Duke. just the way he looks and how he plays reminds me of Jay Williams. He's phenomenal. He scored 40 last night in his first start. And it begs the question, why wasn't he fucking starting from day one from David Riley? But we can get to that later. I mean, you take 5 minutes to watch Cougar basketball to realize he's the best player on the team. But for some reason, he hasn't started. So he started yesterday against Arizona State. They lost. It was a highly entertaining game. He scored 40. And all I think about is, sucks. We got 20 more games with him because there is no way that he will be on the team next year because of NIL. There's just no way. He'll be on Kentucky. He'll be on North Carolina. He'll go to Oregon. Whoever. Yeah, pick your Kansas.
That's a terrible attitude you have there. Because
I know it's terrible.
I know, but
awful.
if we get 5 million Cougs who will sign up and pay $18.90 a month, then we're good to go.
Okay, I mean, I've signed up. You're signed up. There's a lot of people that are signed up. We could use more people to sign up. What will it be enough to whatever this guy is going to get? You know how many college coaches yesterday were probably watching that if they weren't playing, going, well, how much money is it going to take for him to come play for us?
Well, and it's not just you and me, and obviously it's not just you and me with this cynical attitude about NIL, but when we see a player like what we saw from Ace Glass last night, and I immediately thought of Klay Thompson, I go, shit, man, this kid's got the potential to be as good as Klay. And that's kind of crazy to say that, but if you saw last night's game like Puck and I did, and you saw that kid and what he was doing, he was 9 for 14 from the field and managed to score 40 points taking 14 shots. How often does that ever happen when somebody scores 40 points? 16 for 18 from the foul line. That kid at the foul line looks like, why am I even shooting these free throws? Because you know I'm going to make them.
He doesn't even hit the rim.
No, I know. He's got range. He's creative. He can get to the bucket. I mean, he does it all. And yeah, you're right. I mean, why? Where's great? What the hell? How has he not been started?
I don't know what
it's not like our team is loaded with 5 stars.
He comes from, is he from the same high? No, he's not from the same high school as Klay, but the Rancho Cucamonga has been like this pipeline of Wazoo for a lot of years. Football, maybe some basketball. There's always just been like this connection. Anyways, I don't know why he wasn't recruited. Riley probably got on him early. I don't know his size. He's not the tallest guy, but he's not short, but he's stocky for whatever reason. The portal overlooks players like him because they don't recruit high school anymore. So they recruit the portal. But so he probably took a lesser offer to come to Washington State, and good for David Riley and his staff to find him. And now I think is, 10, 15 years ago, you're like, oh my God, how good is he? I can't wait to see him as a sophomore. I can't wait to see him as a junior. I can't wait to see him as a senior, like we did with Klay before he left early. But now I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy him now because there is probably a 0.5% chance that he's on the team next year. And it's a lousy attitude to have. I know.
No, it is, but it's fair to have that attitude. I mean, I was looking at the comments on Twitter, and one guy was saying, I bet you there's agents and schools that are on their way to Maui right now.
Jim, I wondered, and I think he can do this, by the way. I think I'm right. I think he could transfer now if he wanted to. I'm not joking. I think he can and not have to sit out.
I liked hearing from one guy who said that he half expected, he was kidding with his kid while they were watching the game. He half expected Ace Glass to come out in the second half in an Arizona State uniform.
I'm going to text Canzano this, but I think they changed something. I think they changed a rule where
I can't imagine that they would be allowed to play for another school in the
I don't know.
Season.
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just going to text and be like, could a guy transfer now and be eligible to play this year?
Because, I don't think so.
Well,
I don't know. I like this Puck. I like this other guy too, since the game was in Maui. And he said, it's ironic that aloha means both hello and goodbye. Because it was a hello to Ace Glass last night for everybody, including us. Like, hello to potential superstar, and then goodbye after the season's over.
Well, I know it's a terrible way to view things. Maybe they could do whatever. I would just say this: try to give if you can. If you're a Coug fan, want to see him play. It's no guarantees that he will, but he's pretty damn good. He's really, really good. And I would just want to know from David Riley thoughts on why he wasn't starting. And then the other question I have for David Riley would be this: tell me what number 11 Morton does that justifies him on the court. And I'm being honest with that. I would just want to hear from one of these coaches to tell me why. Just give me one reason. I want one reason why he plays.
They probably say there's intangibles that you don't know about that he brings to the team.
Okay.
They probably say he's a glue guy.
Okay. All right. Well,
like,
that's fine.
Whenever anybody's numbers suck and they play more than you think they should, well, he's a glue guy. He's yeah.
I just want to hear.
Yeah, Morton's not good.
I would just
he's certainly not good enough to be playing ahead of the guy we saw last night, who's a true freshman who scored 40 points.
Yeah. We're going to get to Rob Staten. We can bring this up with Rob Staten because the Seahawks this year, it's their 50th anniversary. They put up their top 50 players of all time, but they didn't rank them. Well, Condotta went.
Weren't they slow playing it too? Were they coming out with 5 every week? Or
yeah,
how are they
like
doing that?
Something like that. But
they don't have a number one. They don't go 50.
They
49,
didn't. They didn't rank them. But Condotta did. He ranked them 1 through 50.
Oh, did he? Okay.
And I think people would be. Jeff, you haven't seen the story yet, so I think people may be. I don't know. I think be a healthy discourse who he put at number 1.
Okay.
Okay. So we got to bring it up with Rob. Rob Staten's going to join us. He's excited that you're here. Rob's been kind of tired of dealing with me.
Well, no, wait a minute. Now you have 2 guys who said that they want to do this podcast with me, and one of them being Rob, and one of them being Mitch.
And Mitch,
like, what the hell? Why? I mean, the question I have is why? Like what?
Because you're authentic. That's why.
Oh,
but you weren't that important.
I am that. I'm not going to try and bullshit anybody ever.
But Mitch, the Mitch Unfiltered podcast, which again he charges $5 a month. So do I. But I'm here doing it. Mitch is not. That you weren't as important as Syracuse basketball. So
that's true.
Okay,
that's true.
Rob joins us inside the bloody trenches with Rob Staten. He's excited to talk to you. But first, it's all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Here he is, Rob Staten, inside the bloody trenches with Rob Staten, SeahawksDraftBlog.com. You can follow Rob on social media at Rob Staten. Check out his YouTube page, Rob Staten Football Weekly Appearance, brought to you by Georgetown Brewery. He's got the great-looking Cougar hat on right now. Rob, he's here. You've been begging for him to be on. You're tired of talking to me. You want somebody that entertains you. There he is, Jim Moore.
Yeah, it's great to see Jim. Jim is absolutely fantastic. And I've said this to Jim many times before, but I made a bad decision. Well, not a bad decision. I made a decision to take on a huge commute a few years ago. And it was like an hour and a half to work every day and an hour and a half back. And I would not have survived that commute if it was not for Jim Moore. So, and his radio shows. So I much appreciate Jim for that. Yeah.
Never says this about me. It
got me through those long drives.
Only for you.
Honestly, seriously, Rob, that means a lot to me. It really does. Because sometimes when you're doing shows, you don't really know if anybody's listening. And if they are listening, typically you get the text saying, God, you're a moron, you're old, you're clueless, all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciate that. Did you ever wonder, though, that when you were listening, Rob, like, because I enjoyed Jim so much, why his name is always last on the moniker, like Danny, Dave, and Moore. Yeah.
I did that. I just, there's so many things I remember about that time. I can remember rushing to listen to The Smoking Lock every week. I just found it so entertaining. Like it was, and it just put a smile on my face. And the show was done in a way that it just felt normal at a time when I felt like particularly the Seahawks coverage was going a bit crazy online. Everybody all of a sudden had big opinions on analytics and whether running backs mattered. And it was like a release from all of that. And I loved that show. And that would have been 2018, 2019 when I was doing that job. And it got me through those epic drives that I had to do every single day.
God, I can't tell you again how much I appreciate that. Yeah, you like to think that people are listening or reading what you're writing, and you never quite know. And so I'm glad you enjoyed those commutes. It made it a little more tolerable anyway.
How much did you pay Rob to say all this before he came on?
Not a single thing.
Some agreement behind the scenes?
No. And I remember when you first came on with Puck when we were working at KJR. As soon as we got done with the segment with you, I looked at him and I go, we have to make him a regular on this show. I mean, because you were that fantastic too. So, yeah. And I'm glad that it's all worked out for you. And you're here as a regular guest with Puck and everything else you're doing over there. And I love your accent when you call Puck, Puck. I mean, I love it all. Yeah.
I love being here.
It gets him a laugh every time. Are you guys done praising each other?
No, God, Rob, you're doing
keep it up. Let's go.
Job.
Let the praise show of record. Any more compliments?
No, Rob, what do you do? Okay, this is going to be a dumb question, but I'm known for asking dumb questions.
Who cares? A dumb
Is there
show of
anything
record.
over there that you will do in England tomorrow, even though it's not Thanksgiving there? Do people acknowledge that, or it's just another Thursday in England?
Well, for the majority of people, it is just another Thursday. But as someone who works at a radio station, what you will find is that it's a very easy way for the shows during the day, because sort of my show is a football soccer show which goes on in the evening. But in the build up to that, it's current affairs and news and stuff like that, and a bit of fun on the radio station that I work for. And often so it's Thanksgiving, so they will talk about Thanksgiving, or maybe they'll get an American person on who lives locally or something like that to talk about it. And then of course I was down to host the show. I mean, it starts at 6:00 in the evening here, but that clashes with the first Thanksgiving football game. So I've managed to swap it with my colleagues so that I can rush home and watch 3 games of football tomorrow. So, there'll be many people doing that because football over here is crazy popular now. So
American football, where does American football now rank there in the pantheon of sports?
That's a very interesting question. So obviously you're never going to top soccer. Like that's going to be, it's way ahead of everything else. And then traditionally you would have had cricket and rugby as the next 2. I think that there's a chance, I think I've said this before, in the next sort of 5 to 10 years that American football could be pushing those 2 sports, because there's a real lack of money in those 2 sports. People tend to watch those 2 sports for when England play big games, not the sort of the domestic leagues are not particularly strong. And I can leave the house. I could leave the house and go to the mall right now, and I guarantee you I will see somebody wearing an NFL hat or a hoodie or something. And here's the crazy thing is often it's a Seahawks hat or a hoodie. Like there are so many Seahawks fans in the UK because the explosion of popularity over here coincided with the LOB era. Yeah. So you have a ton of Seahawks fans over here, and it's incredible how much it's taken off in the last 10 or 15 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've heard that about the Seahawks being just a phenomenon over there. And so that's cool to hear. Are you I don't really have anything to transition to my next question here, but where are we on Sam Darnold?
Meanwhile,
yeah, whatever.
Well, hold on, Rod. Do you realize
he was at Turkey last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, Jim. Oh, that's perfect, Jim. I don't think you realize. Someone said this, and he's, Corey, you're right. We don't realize what a big deal he is over there. Like, do you realize what a big deal he is over there?
I assume that he is, but I didn't realize that.
He's like Stephen A. Smith. Without the yelling.
So Rob, when you go out to that mall that you're talking about, the people
get swarmed.
Like that's Rob Staten, and they pull you aside and want to have a selfie with you and all that kind of thing.
It's not very English of me to talk about myself.
He's saying
yes. That has happened, but my wife hates when that stuff happens.
Why does she hate it? Because my wife hates it too, but it's a different reason. I'm curious if it's the same.
Because I'll always end up talking to that person for about 15 minutes. And
but
she doesn't like the focus on her and like everything. So, but it does happen, yeah.
Well,
my wife doesn't like that my candle is.
You don't want. Sorry, Puck. You don't want to just brush somebody off. If they come up to you and say, "God, I really enjoy what you're doing," you're going to say, "Yeah. Let's get this over with and leave." I mean, you're not going to do that.
No, I go the other way, and I almost become too. I'm really appreciative of everybody who listens to what we do or follows what we do, and I feel like I almost go over the top in trying to emphasize that. You know, like when you get a Christmas present or something, and you really want the people to know that you like the gift, and sometimes you go a bit overboard, and then people think you're putting it on. Sometimes there's like that little bit of a problem with me sometimes, but I think it's great if people actually listen to what you do and feel obliged to come over and mention that. Yeah. I think you've got to. You've got to sort of make them aware that you really appreciate that, because why wouldn't you?
Because they're taking time out of
overboard than underboard. Go ahead.
They're taking time out of their day to say. I don't care what you do. If someone comes up to you and says, "I like thank you for what you do," whatever your job is, you like to hear that. It's nice, and I think you got to take time out to be appreciative of that person coming up and saying, "Hey, you've done a good job."
I mean, I also get called a wanker from every now and again as well, so that does happen too.
Well, it's why
my kids. It was funny when I was in Pullman last week. We were at Valhalla, and there were some other 4 college students that came down and just said, "Oh, I love you on the Pucks podcast and everything." And so I'm getting a picture taken with them, and my kids are looking at these fellow students going, "What the hell, man? That's just my dad. He's an idiot. Why would you want your picture taken with him?"
It's why Rob couldn't, when we went out to dinner when he was in town, couldn't say no to this guy that kept talking to us. Even though I tried to do everything in my power to end the conversation. Every signal that I could send. We are done here. Please be done. Yeah, you're right. That poor wife had to deal with that guy all night.
What's your reason that Kaisa doesn't like it when you get selfies taken and all that?
He doesn't like that my candle burns brighter than hers. She would like to be the center of attention. So if I get more attention than her, she's like, I don't care for that. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, you ready for Sam Darnold now?
You want to go Sam Darnold? You got a Sam Darnold question for Rob? Yes. Jim Moore, question for Rob Staten.
Yeah, go ahead. Rob Staten, my question about Sam Darnold. On a personal level, I just feel terrible for that guy after the Rams game. And you can say, well, geez, man, you're feeling sorry for a guy who's making $30 million a year or whatever. But just professionally speaking, then should we continue to be concerned about him till he shows that he can shine in the brightest moments?
Yes, I feel for him as well, and I think he's very likable. When you're watching him play for the Seahawks, he's kind of everything that you want in terms of his emotions and how he sort of leads the team, and physically he's very, very impressive. He's made some great throws this year, but there is still. We saw it at the weekend. He didn't turn the ball over, but he could have done twice. And I think he's 3rd in interceptions or 4th in interceptions in the league. And the players who are in front of him are Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, and Geno Smith. So they're not the kind of that's not the kind of company you want to be keeping in terms of the turnovers. Now I know that the 4 against LA have elevated that a little bit, but if you get to a playoff game now, or even this Rams game that's coming up on Thursday night, we're all going to be sat there wondering, can he avoid a repeat of what happened before? Or even if it's not 4 interceptions, is it going to be 2? Is it going to be 1, but it's really important? And until he can show, I can play a clean game of football and still be explosive and still win a game for this team, there's going to be a question mark there. But I'm rooting for him so badly to prove that he can do that, because I really like him. And in a week where the former quarterback was flipping off the home fans as he left the field, I really want Sam Darnold to be the guy for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody wants him is rooting for him, but I also think at the same time you go into it and you're nervous about him. And I don't know how you can't be a little nervous about him. It doesn't mean that it should take away the season that he's had. He's had a very good season. But when he does get into these bigger games, that is always going to be there with him. He's carrying that along with him in every big game, just because he, at this point, now again, he hasn't had a bunch of these big games to play in yet, because he just hasn't been, it hasn't been a starting quarterback for all that long. But when you go back to that Rams game and you go back to last year and how it ended for Minnesota, a narrative starts to be written about someone, and it's hard to shake. It's hard for him to shake it right now. And again, he doesn't have to come out in that Rams game and be the reason they won. I think we said it after the Rams game. He just can't be the reason they lost. And he was the sole reason why they lost that game. And I agree with both of you. I'm rooting for him, because if he's just Sam Darnold like we've seen this year, not the one against the Rams, but in the other games, they can win the whole damn thing, Rob.
Yes,
because of how they're playing in every other position.
That's what you need. And sometimes as a quarterback, you do have to go through some struggles. Like Lamar Jackson's not won a particularly big playoff game in his career. People are going to ask that question of him when he gets to the postseason. Josh Allen's beats the Chiefs in every regular season game, then plays the Chiefs in the playoffs and loses every playoff game. So there's a question mark there about him. And that will be there for Darnold, as it is for other players too. He's going to get opportunities. He gets to play the Rams again. That's the great thing. It's not a one-off game. He gets to play them again. He may play them again after that in the playoffs. There's every opportunity. He may play the Niners twice, 2 more times in the playoffs and at the end of the season. He's going to get some big game opportunities. The Seahawks are going to be in the playoffs. So if he's healthy, he will start a playoff game. That's his time to shine. And I hope he uses this as motivation coming forward to prove to people that he can do it, and that what actually doesn't happen is more turnovers, more question marks, that we're going into the offseason saying he's good, but my word, he is a liability in the big games, like you say, Puck, because we don't want to be there as a franchise wondering about the quarterback position again.
What do you guys think about this conspiracy theory in Minnesota about J.J. McCarthy, and that he's going to be out on Sunday because of a concussion, supposedly, and yet they're Viking fans going, hey, man, they don't want him to go up against Sam Darnold and look terrible in comparison.
I like it. It's creative.
I haven't heard that one.
Have you ever heard of this quarterback who's going to start for them?
Yes,
No.
I actually watched 11 of his games last season.
Max Brosmer?
Max Brosmer.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me. Was he Minnesota?
He was at Minnesota.
Was he a Gopher?
He was a Gopher, and he was at New Hampshire before that.
Right.
New Hampshire, yeah, and then went to Minnesota and had a really good year. Yeah, had a really good season, and I'm not surprised that the Vikings fans are quite optimistic about him, because he is a good football player. He doesn't have the physical tools. He's not big. He's not fast. He doesn't have a big arm. But technically, so of all the quarterbacks I watched last season, and I watched them all of the draft eligible ones, he was the only one who took snaps consistently under center. Like, that's just something that doesn't happen in college football anymore.
Yeah.
And he takes them under center. He's very good at play action. He could throw the ball well on play action. In the red zone, I found that he was good. And he has got this kind of like sneaky elusiveness to him, where he could sort of avoid a bit of pressure, get on the run, and make a throw. So I don't think I think the fact that it's his first start means that he's probably going to get overwhelmed in this game. At least that's what the hope must be against the Seahawks defense in Seattle. But he could be one of those players down the line who is just frustrating enough to play against, as someone who can, he may be capable of beating a good team just by managing things. And he has still got some good receivers to throw to. So I think he is probably, like, based on what we've seen from JJ McCarthy, has probably got as good a chance as JJ McCarthy at this point of being a solution to Minnesota. But they're going to be looking at quarterbacks in the offseason.
Jim, think about what they had on their roster a year ago. On their roster a year ago, they had Sam Darnold, and they had oh my God, why am I blanking on Daniel Jones? Think about that. Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold on the roster a year ago, and they say, nah, we're good. We're going to go JJ McCarthy. And you're right. I mean, again, I think we overreact too much to young quarterbacks. And we did it with Sam Darnold. We're doing it with Daniel Jones, and people are going to do it with JJ McCarthy. Just give him some time. But, you know, it does look like you're like, God, you went from a real strong playoff team to now you're not going to be in the playoffs. You're one of the worst teams because of a decision you made at quarterback. It's why, Jim, we come back to the decision all the time. It's the hardest decision in sports to figure out the quarterback spot.
No, it is. And, you know, hopefully, and Darnold has looked the part, except for, you know, like Rob was saying, in that game against the Rams, and he needs to do it in the bigger moments. But I went from thinking that this was a lock to go with the Seahawks. I was considering it, Rob, for smoking lock of the week, taking the Seahawks, giving 9.5 to the Vikings, because I figured that redemption game for Darnold, he wanted to show the Vikings what they lost and how could they possibly get rid of him. But now I'm kind of going, geez, the line's up to 11.5.
What is it?
And we know that the Seahawks have had a history of losing to some backup quarterbacks like Colt McCoy at home. So I'm not so sure about that point spread and whether the Seahawks are going to mop the floor with them or not.
I'd have a dabble at 10. I think if there's like an alternative spread, something like 10. I just feel as if Brosma, this is going to be a very difficult baptism of fire for him. And even if Minnesota can keep it close and run the ball or anything like that to shorten the game, that eventually they will pull away. I'll be starting the Seahawks defense in all of my fantasy leagues, even though I like Max Brosma. But I think for him, I wouldn't want to be playing him in 3 weeks' time if he stays in the job once he's worked with Kevin O'Connell, who's a very good quarterback developer. But I don't know. I think the fact that the spread's gone, I didn't know it had gone to 11. I thought if it was 9.5, I would have had a dabble at that. I would have thought that'd be quite tempting, but not necessarily at 11. It just seems quite high, and I've seen what happens. So I took the Panthers when they were at Lambeau, and it was I think 13. And the Panthers won that game. And I took the Vikings against the Lions when it was 9, and the Vikings won that game. So I'm always kind of like wary of going too high on these things.
You guys worried about Darnold because he might put too much pressure on himself this week?
Well, he even when he has a clean game like he did last weekend, he nearly throws an interception or two.
Yeah.
So there's always that chance. Minnesota's defense, they've got a very good defensive coordinator, so I'm not going to get too cocky and confident about it. But
yeah, I would think they would know his tendencies there in Minnesota.
Well, and does he want to prove it? Hey, F you, you gave up on me. I'm going to prove it that I can make this throw, and then all of a sudden they know that, and he's throwing 3 picks.
Yeah, I hopefully they'll do a great sort of deception thing there and just run the ball 40 times in this game.
Looking good. Running game's looking good. Walker looked great last week.
Rob, I think it's really interesting what you're saying about Brosmer, the quarterback who's going to start for the Vikings instead of McCarthy, because he was undrafted. And so there's a lot of NFL GMs that obviously didn't think of him in those kind of terms that you do.
Well, I really liked him, but gave him a round 6-7 grade, because you kind of have to think, what's the ceiling with a player like this? And for the majority of teams in the NFL, the ceiling's not good enough, and he's going to go undrafted. But if you'd have said to me in March or April, where do you want to see Max Brosma go to? I would have said a Shanahan or a McVay coach. And that's one of the reasons why I watched as much as I did, because the Seahawks had one of those once they appointed Clint Kubiak. And I just wondered whether or not he is somebody who, specifically for the system, whether that's somebody you bring in, you give them a camp, and you see if they can stick. I mean, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. And it's not necessarily that, well, every player who goes in the 7th round and undrafted by a Shanahan or a McVay guy is going to end up being a $50 million quarterback like Brock Purdy, or they didn't play like one on Monday. I just feel as if this is a great match for him. And it'll take some time. He had a good preseason. I liked him enough to actually watch a couple of the preseason games of the Vikings just to keep an eye on Max Brosma in the offseason. And that's what's generated a bit of excitement, because the Vikings fans thought he played well in those games. But I'm saying all this now, saying I like him, but I want people to know, so that people aren't tweeting me when the game happens and the Seahawks win 38-0, that I don't think he's going to play very well in this first game. But I think he will have a chance with Kevin O'Connell to be a player.
One thing that we've all been celebrating the year of Jackson Smith and Jigba, right, Jim? I mean, it's been an incredible year. He's gonna likely break, Megatron's single season record. He's got an extra game to do it. He's going to be the first receiver, at least he's on pace to be over 2,000 yards. But I guess there is the one concern with it. And I think I saw this stat. If I get the number wrong, I know I'm close. He's accounted for something like 49% of their catches and production at the wide receiver position, which brings up the question, they need somebody else to step up, right, Jim? Or can they just keep doing this every single week with him? Where the coordinator's we'll just leave him alone over there, but it's like a one-man band over there, but the one-man band is performing.
That sounds like overanalyzing and overthinking it to me.
Well,
I understand where you're coming from. You probably want to spread it out a little bit, but I don't quite understand, Rob, and maybe you can help me understand it. Why they don't take him away? Why defenses don't take him away? Maybe he's untakeawayable because he's so damn good. That was pretty good that I came up with that on the fly.
That was great. I'm going to actually write that down.
Untakeawayable. because he is that good. But I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, I'm the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. I'm going to take him away and try and let a broken down, aging Cooper Kupp to beat me, or AJ Barner or whoever else. But I'm not going to let JSN beat us.
Well, I think that's the amazing thing about him, is that he is inevitable at this point. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter who they're playing, he's going to get 100 yards or thereabouts and a touchdown or whatever, or 2 even last week. And the top receivers are inevitable. Like, if Matt Stafford goes into a game thinking Puka Nacua is going to get 100 yards in this game, he's probably going to get it. And look at George Pickens with the Cowboys. Like, everyone knows that George Pickens is the main man for Dallas, not CeeDee Lamb. He's getting 100 yards a game. We've seen it with Justin Jefferson when he's at his best. Jamar Chase, you can come up with a plan for Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase will probably still score a couple of touchdowns and get 80 to 120 yards. And JSN is in that company now. He is an elite player. He is probably one of, I would say, 2 blue chip players the Seahawks have, along with Leonard Williams. And he's a naturally gifted player. He's not the quickest. He's not the biggest. But he tracks the ball probably better than any receiver in the NFL. I think he's intelligent with his route running. And he has just got that shiftiness about him to separate on a short range, but he can also get downfield and make those big explosive plays. So it's a pleasure to watch him for Seattle. And you have to say the Seahawks have pulled off an absolute minor miracle by getting a player of that quality with the 20th overall pick.
It's there's a stat that's been out there on social media this week. He has more receiving yards than 5 teams in the league combined in their wide receiver room. The best part of it is one of the teams are the Pittsburgh Steelers,
of course,
with DK Metcalf. It's just, that's mind-boggling that he's got more than that entire room.
Well, the Steelers also had Pickens, of course. They traded him to Dallas,
right?
And they acquired DK, give him an absolute fortune, and the Seahawks didn't need DK, and the Steelers did need George Pickens. So it's funny how those things work.
You know who's smiling these last 2 off seasons is John Schneider. John Schneider is smiling his ass off right now in his last 2 off seasons. Moves on from Carroll, brings in McDonald, moves on from DK, moves on from Geno Smith, and he's upgraded at both. Just smiling his ass off.
Well, same guy who moved on from Russell Wilson.
Yeah, gets an extra whip coming out of that hot tub from Jody. Just a
Oh, you're going back to that one.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
I missed that one.
You missed Jody whipping all the
guys.
Back
to the towel back.
Can I make a request?
God, I love that.
Who was what's the title? My mind is gone. Who controls, it was like the GM of the college teams.
Athletic director.
Athletic director.
Yeah. Oh, you want Jen Cohen?
I do.
Well, there's going to be a lot of openings this year, Rob, and no one's going to take my Grubby because Grubby's coming home to USC because I'm going to boot that Lincoln Riley out, and me and Grubby are going to sit back on my porch with a Pinot Green, a couple of cigarettes, and get a little loose. You know what I mean, Rob?
Rob, I think he might have gotten called in on doing one too many impressions of her. And
not might have, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Closed
door meeting.
You stop doing
Husky
that.
flagship station. Husky flagship station. What the hell are you doing out there?
I'll never forget this.
She does it for me. I don't know what else to tell anybody. She just does it for me. The voice, the look, all of it. I'm in. I've been in for years.
I'll never forget the sort of all of the significant things that happened with the Seahawks in that sort of period where Carroll departed and Mike McDonald was hired and everything like that happened while you were on air, and you would sort of you would sort of reference that the big breaking news had happened, and then it would often be followed by like that impression or like something completely irreverent. So it was massively entertaining at the time.
Honestly, there we go. We
one,
did
of our, one of our most professional moments, and we don't have many to choose from, was after Michigan beat the Huskies in the national championship game. And
remember the show.
And Rich Moore only put us on for an hour because he thought, and usually we have a 3-hour show. And every break that we went to, during the game or during the broadcast, it was like, oh man, God, that was tough. The Huskies were this close, good for them, a tip of the cap and all that. During commercial breaks, we were going, God, thank God Michigan won.
I forgot that he only let us go on for an hour.
Yeah.
God, that was great. Yeah, I'm only going to give you an hour. Why? Well, because I don't need you on the air. Well, why don't you just take us off? Just don't put us on at all.
No, we pulled it off. We pulled it off.
I know, but it was the
we were
worst
good actors that
hour.
day.
I know. It was the worst hour of radio in the history of an hour radio. We had to sit there and lie the entire time about, God, it's too bad. Well, if they would have just done this, they would have had a shot at winning the game. And man, great season for the Huskies. Really proud of how they competed against Michigan. And Jim's right. The second the mic went up, we're like, fucking go. Hail to the victor. I mean, I couldn't contain our excitement that they lost. I loved every second of it that they lost. Yeah, are we pathetic and bitter and small? Yeah, all of it.
Well,
still was fun to watch Michigan win.
They may well experience a similar feeling this weekend.
Oh yeah, well, go Ducks, and he can say go Ducks because he's married to a duck. So.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of like the Huskies in the points this week, though. They
like
play so well at home.
What's the point?
6.5. And I wouldn't mind if the Huskies won this week, just because then Fish would kind of move up in the hot coaching rankings.
We want Fish to leave, and not because we think he's a great coach, just because it just creates chaos.
The humor,
yeah.
The amusement.
I think they may win. I think they got a shot at winning.
I'm going the Ducks and the points there. I mean, they absolutely smashed USC. I think USC are a better team than UW. So I think 6 points. I'm going to have a bit of that. I think that's what it is over here.
Did you guys see? We reference this. I want to get to it. So the Seahawks did their top 50 players of all time. I love these lists. Who doesn't love a list? Everyone does. Well, Condota ranked them 1 to 50. Mm-hmm. Now I've got some issues with Condota, but everybody should have an issue with anything. It's a list, right? I mean, I can first start with the first one I had an issue with. He's got Kurt Warner at 19 and Jim Zorn at 17. Hey, Condota, come on. Jim Zorn was not a better player than Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner, if he doesn't get hurt, is one of the all-time running backs in the history of the league. That's my issue number one. Also, Kenny Easley. He's got Kenny Easley at 7, but he's got Richard Sherman above him. Jim Moore, I'll ask you, because I bet Rob never saw Kenny Easley play. You think Richard Sherman was a better football player than Kenny Easley?
No, he wasn't.
Not even close.
But it's not like it was that Easley was light years ahead of him.
Well, he was a defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
And he's a no doubt Hall of Famer. Like he's in the.
And Bob's old enough to have seen Kenny Easley.
And Kenny Easley is in the conversation as the greatest safety of all time. Of all time. Is Richard Sherman in that conversation?
Too bad his career was cut short too, with the kidney issues. And but you're right. No matter what you do on those lists, and you probably can say, okay, Condota has his top 50, and there's probably a handful or two handfuls of guys that you're going, why didn't he make the top 50? Like, Dave Wyman should be on that list, and I don't think he is.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah. That second rounder out of Stanford back in the day. God.
He played for the Seahawks, right? He was a middle linebacker.
I got to see the menacing look on his face many times. Can you imagine playing against that guy?
What is he up to now? What is he doing now?
I don't know. He's doing a show that used to be really good until they got rid of the older guy on it.
Oh.
And now it's just a bunch of meanwhiles and, just dull stuff.
Bunch of I just got done with jiu-jitsu class. What did you do, Dave? All right, top 5.
I love Bob, though.
I know. Top 5 from 5 to 1. Cortez Kennedy at number 5. Number 4, Steve Largent. Number 3, Walter Jones. Number 2, Bobby Wagner. And he says the best player in Seahawks franchise history, of course, Russell Wilson. You think let me start first with you, Rob. You think Russell Wilson should be number 1 on the list?
Well, as you quite rightly say, my time sort of tracking this. Right. I mean, I followed the NFL in the 2000s and properly invested in the Seahawks in 2006. So there's a lot of players on this list that I'm not in a position to comment on. I think it's an interesting number 1 choice because the argument is valid. Russell Wilson changed the NFL for a period, and he was unbelievable for a long stretch. I suppose it depends whether you are going to place all of the importance on the position that he played over the overall quality. So, for example, Walter Jones and Kenny Easley and people like that you've talked about there are probably, in terms of pure talent, better players. But Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl and has set a bunch of quarterback records, so you can make that argument. Look, it's a fun list. I would not have had Bobby Wagner ahead of Walter Jones as a starting point there. I think you've raised a good point about Richard Sherman, although I really have very little time for Richard Sherman. So
I want Richard Sherman to go away.
Do you think he's terrible on the Amazon thing?
Yeah, terrible in everything.
I don't think he's terrible. I'm over Richard Sherman. He was at what game was I at the playoffs? Game 5 when they won, when they beat Toronto, I think. And he was the celebrity they brought on the field, and everyone's going nuts. And I'm like, F off.
I want him out. He was nice to us up at that. We had him. He was.
I'm tired of a guy that continues to get in trouble off the field. Well, I don't want to turn this into Richard Sherman. I'm over Richard Sherman. All right, Rob, continue.
Yeah. I'm a huge Marshawn Lynch. I don't think you have the LOB era without Marshawn Lynch. So I would probably bump him a little bit higher. But the Wilson thing, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to know what you guys think, because you've seen some of these sort of players that I've not, and I think it's an interesting number one. I think probably a lot of the fans will react negatively to that when they see it. I wouldn't remember.
Well, I'm fine with Wilson being number one. I can see, for reasons that Bob chose him there and Rob talked about. I'm not buying Bobby Wagner at number 2. I'm just not buying him number 2 overall.
Oh, this is him getting influenced. He's getting influenced by Dave Wyman, because Wyman's
no, I'm not. No, God,
I agree with you.
People saying that, or you're just regurgitating stuff that Wyman said. No, not really. I never thought I was. No, Bobby was a terrific player, great player, but all-time middle linebackers.
He's not the best defensive player that's ever put on a Seahawks uniform? So no, he's not number 2.
No, okay, fine. Then why?
I'm saying Cortez Kennedy and Kenny Easley were better defensive players than Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, or you could even put Sherman. You could put Sherman ahead of Wagner.
Thomas was a better defender than Bobby Wagner at his best.
Who was that?
Earl Thomas at his best.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Was he in their prime? You're right. I think that's a great question. Right? In their prime, the LOB, who was the most important player on that defense during the LOB?
Earl.
I'd say Earl too.
Cam.
I think Earl Thomas was the most important player on that defense.
Earl was without a doubt, and then Cam, the tone-setting physicality that Cam Chancellor had. As much as you don't have the LOB without Marshawn, you don't have the LOB without Cam Chancellor either. And a whole era that is like, people will talk about the '85 Bears and the Ravens in 2000, and now they talk about the LOB. None of that happens without Marshawn Lynch and Cam Chancellor. So I think you have to sort of acknowledge that. And Bobby Wagner, consistent player, very good player, not better than some of the names you mentioned.
Would Cam be the same player that he is today if he were playing now? I wonder if Cam Chancellor would be as effective. And I just say that because of the rule changes. I feel like all his big hits, we'd be seeing yellow flags more than we used to.
You're right. 100% right.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he probably could play that. I mean, the hit on. Did he get a flag for the hit on the Niners tight end?
Vernon Davis.
Did he get a flag for that?
Yeah, he got a flag. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah, he probably would have been flagged a lot more. I think, Jim, who would you put number 1? I think for me, it's pretty clear cut.
Who is it? Walter Jones?
Walter Jones.
Yeah. Well, he was known as the best left tackle for many, many years. And so, yeah, I'm fine with Wilson, though. I'm fine with Russell Wilson being number 1. Yeah. I mean, what he did coming out, smaller quarterbacks, took a chance on him in the 3rd round, and what he did for the Seahawks, and the vertical game and plays off script and everything else. He was terrific. God,
he also had on that list, I can't remember where he had him, but it was way too low. And Rob won't remember this guy. This is way before Rob's time, but I want to see where he had him, because I remember when I read it, I'm like, come on, that's way too low. Let's see, not there. Where is he at? He had John L. Williams way too low. He had it at number 30. John L. Williams was great.
Yeah, but it's probably the position that he played, though.
Oh, but he was, come on. John L. It was beautiful.
Where do you have Marshawn? Where do you put Marshawn?
He was better than Marcus Trufant. I'll tell you that. And I love Marcus Trufant, but come on. John L. Williams.
Marshawn top 10?
14th.
14?
It's a little low. He should be
over. I'm old. Kurt Warner was the best running back this franchise has ever had.
Agreed.
So,
all right, Rob, I'm glad you got a little Jim in you.
I am glad too. Yeah, it has genuinely been an absolute pleasure to be here today. I'm not joking. It has, and this has been this is the first day off work I've had for about 11 days, and I'm absolutely knackered. And this has completely cheered me up, sort of having this conversation. So I've loved every second of it.
Good. All
well,
right.
Thanks, Rob.
All right,
pleasure
Rob.
Being with you, man.
We'll bring him around more often. And Jim can stay on at every visit with us. All right. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Rob.
See you next week.
All right.
Yeah,
there he is.
take care, Rob.
Oh, sorry about that. I cut him loose right before you could say goodbye. Rob Staten with us every single week inside the bloody trenches with Rob Staten. Brought to you by Georgetown Brewery. Again, follow Rob on social media, Rob Staten. Also, check out his football or his YouTube page, Rob Staten Football. I kept you long today. Are you okay? Sorry about that.
Yeah, let's see what's on the schedule. I need to pay
you some overtime.
I got to get a fresh turkey as opposed to a frozen turkey. Those were my instructions.
Yeah, that's true.
Are they hard to find or are they okay?
I don't know if they're hard to find, but yeah, you need to get the fresh one, not the. Well, yeah, you might be out. You're up against it right now.
Well, I got to go give that a shot and then get ready to smoke it tomorrow and all that. And then going to go to Lava Lanes today, do a little bowling with the boys, and watch the Cougs against Seton Hall.
Let's go, Cougs. Let's go enjoy. I got to enjoy Ace Glass as you can. I did get an answer from Canzano. He says, no, you can't do it, but he expects someone to challenge that very soon, to which I replied, Ace Glass will probably challenge. And I transfer midseason.
Yeah, by the way, you gave me a hard time about the Portugal trip. Andrew, who I believe is in Las Vegas, I met him down at Quail Run before I got fired. He was down there playing the golf course. He's a Puck podcast listener, obviously, if you heard that. He wants to go on the Portugal trip. Okay,
now we got 3 spots.
Yeah, now we're down to 3 that we need. All right.
Okay, we're going to get you there. When's the
Why
cutoff?
don't you go? Why don't you go? You're making money hand over fist with your $5 a month deal.
That's not true. Barely getting by. That's too expensive for me. It's too much.
The CEO wouldn't buy. She wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah, she's not going to sign off on anything.
Okay. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it.
3. Hey, do you see who's taking the Colorado State job?
Jim Mora. What do you think? Pac-12 coach next year.
I think I was on board of him coming to the Cougs.
Yeah.
He wanted the job.
It'd be interesting. Career that he's had.
He's done a hell of a job at a place where you don't win at. They've gone to bowl games in 3 of his 4 years, and I think in the previous 11 he'd gone to 1. I mean, he's done a really, really good job there. So we'll see. Colorado State, great place, great place to live. Fort Collins, gorgeous.
Yeah,
I think it's a good move there. Good move, and it's going to be interesting to see what Oregon State does. I'm going to play this soundbite from Canzano coming up. Now it seems like they're cooling, or Justin Wilcox has maybe cooled on Oregon State, or Oregon State is cooling on him. That apparently it's down to Brett Vegan, the head coach at Montana State, and Jamarcus Shepard, who is the assistant at Alabama, the offensive coordinator. But he made a real compelling pitch to Canzano yesterday on Wilcox. And I just asked him, I said, we don't understand why he's so sought after. I don't get it. Went through all of his stuff. Hey, it's hard to win there. It's difficult. He's done a good job and all that. And I forgot that Oregon offered Wilcox the job before they offered it to Dan Lanning.
Oh, I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, and he turned him down. Now he's an Oregon graduate. He grew up in Junction City, all that. Here's what it was so surprising what Canzano said. that well, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to play it for you. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, before you go. Here, Canzano on Wilcox and how the Oregon Ducks could play a part with Justin Wilcox and Oregon State.
Two biggest donors at the University of Oregon, Pat Kilkenny and Phil Knight, both reached out and gave Oregon State sort of a, recommendation. You should talk to Justin. There may be a little bit of we're not just getting a coach, we might be getting a donor in this. You should look at Justin Wilcox, give him a look. People didn't know this. Phil Knight not only had a suite at Reser Stadium for years, he also, when Pat Casey, the Oregon State baseball coach, talked to Notre Dame about leaving years ago, Phil Knight called Bob DeCarolis and said, I will pick up the tab for the salary to beat Notre Dame's salary. In the end, when you talk about Pat Kilkenny and Phil Knight, they support Oregon. But what they love even more than Oregon is Oregonians. It's not going to be the support they give Oregon, but they're going to support Justin Wilcox. And so, I think that helps. And I'm going to throw something else out there that sounds crazy. I was told by an assistant coach at Cal that Jaron Sagapolotelli's revenue share deal and his NIL deals with Cal included outs for him if Justin Wilcox left. He was already at Oregon. He had seen big-time college football. He went to Oregon, took that check, got in the portal, went to Cal to go be with Justin Wilcox, who was the first coach who offered him a scholarship. The assistant coach at Cal told me it won't take $3 or $4 or $5 million to get JKS to follow Justin Wilcox. I think he's given Oregon State some pause. Now, if you're Scott Barnes, what is the safest play here? Where do you get traction? Is it going Montana State or North Dakota State? Is it going with the Alabama assistant? Or is it going with Justin Wilcox? Because that is your answer.
So if you're a Beavers fan, would you want them to take a hard look at Justin Wilcox if, along with Wilcox, comes that quarterback from Cal? If no one's ever seen this kid play, he's dynamic. He's really good. And then on top of that, how much money you're going to get, but you're getting the two biggest donors at Oregon, one of your rivals, with an influx of cash into your football program?
Can we get some rich Husky alum to help us out like that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Where's Ron
Come on, help us figure out.
Hey, Crockett, why don't you give some money to us? Instead of losing it at the track.
Quit putting so much money into Emerald Downs, Ron.
Did you know that? I mean, is that a crazy story about Phil Knight having a suite at Reser Stadium? The fact that he paid Oregon State the money to keep Pat Casey? That's
crazy. It's crazy. God, Canzano's got so many sources and inside information. It's awesome. But as much as you and I kind of badmouth Wilcox and the job he did there at Cal, if I'm a Beaver fan, and especially I'm big into local and, guys that are from, that area. I love the idea of Justin Wilcox taking over for the Beavers and seeing what he can do there. I'd be more interested in having him be my next coach than I would the other two guys you're mentioning, the Montana State guy and the other guy from Alabama. I just think it'd be a win-win for everybody, especially if they can get the Cal quarterback next year.
Yeah. We'll see. His latest story up at johncanzano.com was that there seemed to be some cooling between Wilcox and Oregon State, that it is down to the Montana State guy and Jamarcus Shepard, but who knows? Things could change. The North Dakota State guy just signed a new deal with North Dakota State. And I'm wondering, you think about the current climate of college sports and the situation with Oregon State, maybe he wasn't offered the job and he got a deal with North Dakota State, or maybe he said, I find my situation here better than Oregon State. And that's sad. Yeah, that is really sad. So, hey, we kept you long. It was great to have you on. No show Friday for everyone. No show tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving. So we worked you overtime. Your sponsors deserve it, right? Brad Brotherton at Brotherton Cadillac deserves you to go a little longer today. Obviously, Matt Baker at the Angry Beaver deserve for you to go a little longer today. And Brian Turner at Bright Owl Lighting and also at Clean Streak deserved a little extra from Jim Moore today. And you gave it to him. You delivered. Good on you.
Well, I really appreciate their support of your podcast and myself. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And thank you for listening and reading over the years. It's greatly appreciated.
All right, you're the best. Happy Thanksgiving, the family. Give my best to the boys and Kathy and the whole family. And we'll see you on Monday.
Okay, back at you. Go Cougs, Buck.
Go Cougs. There he is, Jim Moore with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right, we played the Canzano clip. Before we get to On This Day and Hey, What the Puck, I was going to do some Puck Sports highlights from this week. And several shows out there that you don't know. John Canzano is available. He's a part, of course, Tuesday's Daily Puck Drop. Also on Apple and Spotify. If you haven't listened to it yet, you can. Also, it's a part of the YouTube podcast there from Tuesday's show. It's also separated. So if you don't want to watch the whole show or fast forward through the show to get to that interview, John Canzano is up there by itself up on YouTube if you want to watch it. Now, I don't do a good enough job of promoting this. We do this for all of our interviews, by the way. Separate all the interviews in their standalone videos up on YouTube. And so like for Rob Staten today, you don't want to fast forward through the whole Daily Puck Drop. You'll get Rob Staten by itself. And we're doing that for all of our guests. We used to do the audio too, but then I found it was like too much was going in people's audio platforms. I don't know. Maybe I'll change it. Maybe I'll go back. We used to do it where we would do the whole Daily Puck Drop and then separate all the interviews so you could just listen to those interviews. If people want that back and they're like, I'd rather do that than fast forward through the rest of your, drivel, we could do that. But as of now, we usually just podcast the whole show, the audio version of it. All right. So we've got several shows this week. John Canzano, you just heard there. Would they look at Justin Wilcox? We also have this week's for Puck's Posse members. The Sports Pit is back. We used to do it weekly. Now we're monthly. I'm trying to talk one of them get back on doing it weekly. All right. So hopefully, fingers crossed. But this week, it's out now. Latest edition of the Sports Pit with myself, Steve Sandmeyer, and Matt Stretch Johnson. And on this week, we haven't talked since the Mariners were eliminated. So we talked about the Mariners, Josh Naylor, Seahawks. And then also, both of them have a disdain for social media and podcasts, which is funny. But Sandy, especially with social media, does not like it.
But it's like, you still bother you?
Do you remember, maybe you do, maybe you don't, when I talked about how, I'm just going to enjoy these things as they unfold instead of having this visceral reaction to it and letting it ruin my life in other areas. You remember I went on that long diatribe about how this time it's all bullshit. I was miserable for like a month straight.
I knew it.
That's funny.
It was bullshit. A gut punch. That was a gut punch.
You know what I did? And it actually turned out to be an absolute God-saving technique. I don't even know what that means. God-saving technique. What does that even mean?
Well, we're not sharp. It's been a month. It's okay.
I deleted Twitter from my phone, and I'm telling you, it has been a fantastic month without that app on my phone.
It was just in response because you couldn't deal with the Mariners complaining and just all of that.
I deleted it the night Game 7 ended. Yes.
And you haven't missed a thing. Good for you.
That's the latest Sports Pit. Again, myself, Steve Sandmeyer, and Matty Stretch Johnson. Available now for Puck's Posse members. Go to pucksports.com if you're not a member and sign up today. We gave you a little sneak peek also on YouTube, and you can watch like about 10 minutes of it. But if you want the full show, just sign up at pucksports.com. Also out this week, which is free and open to everyone. If you're a Coug fan, even if you're not a Coug fan, and you want to check out what our thoughts on the Cougars and how they're doing. One game remaining. We do Old Crimson. It comes out every single Tuesday with Jim Moore and Paul Sorensen. If you don't know Paul used to be an All-American safety at Washington State, played for years in the NFL. And the big topic this week, and has been kind of all season long, is should the Cougars, well, some fans disdain for offensive coordinator Danny Freund. And now, coming off another game in which their offense fizzles in the second half, should the Cougars move on from Danny Freund in the offseason?
I feel about it, Paul. I've mentioned it too. Like, everybody thinks offensive coordinators are dumb as hell It doesn't matter. It's Danny Freund. It's, you name your offensive coordinator, whatever team you're pulling for, you always think he should have done this, and then he ended up doing that. And then when it doesn't work, it's like, oh, God, what a dumb play call that was. And I understand there's some dumb play calls. The one, when we had the running play against Ole Miss when we were backed up inside of a minute, that was a bad play call. But overall, what is Danny Freund? Does he suck at his job? Does he really suck at his job? And I mean, he's calling plays that he thinks are going to work. And he has all this stuff, all the resources that factor into what he's calling. And so I just like, God, leave him alone, man. I that's the way I feel about it. And I know that other people can make arguments like we shouldn't have run the ball up the middle so many times and try to be more creative and all that stuff. So I get that too. But right now I'm kind of going like, this has been a good season overall. And I've been pretty happy with it, actually.
So the full Old Crimson available up on YouTube and all podcast platforms. We separate it's up on Apple and Spotify, free and open there to everyone. And again, will they make a move in the offseason? I doubt it. I understand the fans' frustration, but I don't think that they're going to make a move in the offseason there with Danny Freund. But certainly could be wrong. Certainly wrong a lot. Last little clip we're going to play for you. It's going to come out later today. Another episode of Inside Pitch, our off-season Mariners show with Ryan Divish, comes out on Wednesdays. Thank you to Chalet Bowl. The full show is only available to Puck's Posse members, although we give you a little snippet of it during the week up on YouTube. But if you want to watch or listen to the full show, you got to sign up. And we talked a lot in this week's episode about Tarek Skubal. What would it take? How feasible is it for the Mariners to go out and acquire Tarek Skubal? What would the cost be, and would it be prudent for the Mariners to go out and acquire Tarek Skubal? Do they need? I mean, again, we would all take Tarek Skubal. Everybody would take him. But do they need him? I mean, because the strength of their team is starting pitching, and they don't have a Tarek Skubal, but no one really does.
I didn't even think about this.
Is it necessary?
No, because I don't think it's like, and I didn't even think of this comparison, but when the Mariners traded for Eric Bedard, like they needed another pitcher to kind of front off of Felix, and they didn't have a lot of guys. They had Miguel Batista. Then they went out and spent the money on Carlos Silva, which was truly amazing. But I mean, yeah, like you look at the Mariners have a finished rotation. They have 5 guys right now, plus Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock behind them. Like, and then, then you can get into Sloan, Cynthia, Kate Anderson behind them. Like, they don't need him. But at the same time, like, do they to get through a season, but do they need him to get to where they want to go? Mm-hmm. You could argue.
So that full, again, Inside Pitch for Puck's Posse members coming out later today, pucksports.com. You can sign up to watch and listen to the full discussion. On Tarek Skubal, also, we look at contract situations with Logan Gilbert, tough decisions they would have to make, maybe with Gilbert coming up, Bryce Miller, George Kirby, Randy Arozarena. Ryan offers up the package that it would take to get Tarek Skubal, which, again, there's a lot of people would probably be like, oh, please, not that player. Don't give him up. But all of it's available coming up later this afternoon when it will be released. All right, before we get to Hey, What the Puck, on this day in the world of sports and current events, November 26, 1791. You remember 1791? First ever U.S. cabinet meeting is held at George Washington's house in Philadelphia. Joining President Washington that day, Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson, Secretary of Treasury Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of War Henry Knox, and Attorney General Edmund Randolph. First ever cabinet meeting, November 26, 1791. You're probably, good chance, I know my wife is, watching this right now. Not this show. Never seen this show. Watching this show on her television. 1956, The Price is Right debuts on NBC. Longest running show in the world. In 2022, it was inducted into the NAB Broadcasting Hall of Fame. Bob Barker was the longest running host of the show, 35 years. He retired in 2007. Current host, Drew Carey, took over October 15th, 2008. 1995, Dan Marino set an NFL record with his 343rd touchdown pass. He would go on to finish with 420. Now is 7th all-time on the career passing touchdown list. Tom Brady's got the all-time mark, 649. Doesn't seem like that will ever be touched. Followed by Drew Brees, 571. Peyton Manning at 539. Aaron Rodgers at 522. And Brett Favre at 508, rounding out the top 5. We talked about Russell Wilson earlier. He is 12th all-time, 353. Some happy birthdays to throw out real quick before we get to Hey, What the Puck. Harold Reynolds, 65 today. Former Mariner, 2-time All-Star with the M's, 3-time Gold Glove winner, now doing great work there at MLB Network. And Tina Turner, not passing away today, born on this day, 1939. She would have been 83 today, but she passed away in 2023. All right, let's wrap it up with Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company that's going to let you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, North Seattle franchise. I got nothing for you other than to say happy Thanksgiving. Everybody have a wonderful day tomorrow, celebrating with family and friends. Eat and drink as much as you want. Coming up, we will not have a show tomorrow. We'll not have a show on Friday, although episodes that are out. John Canzano, Sports Pit is out. I'm taping a high school football preview with Todd Millis, Friday Night Lights. That's coming up. We'll release it later today, and we'll re-release it tomorrow and Friday. It'll be a standalone. So if you want to get caught up on the semifinals in all classifications, no one better than Todd Millis, who joins me every single week. Also, we're going to get you a last word with Bob Condotta. That's going to be taped today. We'll get the last word from Bob on the Seahawks. That will come out today. We'll post it again tomorrow and Friday. So we'll give you stuff throughout the week to kind of pull you through. But no live shows tomorrow and Friday. We'll see you back there on Monday. Everybody, again, have a great Thanksgiving. Great time with family and friends. We'll see you Monday. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!